Thanks for joining us today on the Big Blue Podcast. I'm Greg Stone, Provost of the Southeast Campus, here with Dr. Leigh Goodson. President Goodson, how are you today?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day. We're here at the C4C at Metro Campus, and joining us is Laura McNeese, who's Director of Careers and Retention Programs based out of the Southeast Campus, but responsible for these great services to students college-wide. So, Laura, thanks for coming over and being with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Lots of things to talk about, especially with our new Student Success Center and Career Center at Southeast Campus, but lots of other great programs to talk about. But maybe let's start by talking about what's new in career services, right? I kind of think about it, for someone who maybe was an undergraduate themselves but never visited the Career Services office. Remind us about what you all do and how you support our students in their learning and in reaching their professional goals.
Sure, yeah. So it's easy, I think, oftentimes for students and faculty and staff as well to sort of picture us as the resume people or
Right.
kind of just put us in that box. And that is a portion of what we do. But mainly our services fall into two main categories. So career planning, which is helping students find their major, their career path, helping them research, salary range, availability within the region, as well as making sure their career and major match their interests and their skills and their likes. And sometimes that takes a while to help students in multiple appointments and conversations and tools that we use with students. So that's a big part of what we do. The other side is the employment side. That involves resume, practicing for interviews. We do mock interviews with students quite frequently, and just getting them ready for the job and to apply for the job and attain the career that they want. And we also are moving towards providing more programming on career competencies / soft skills. So communication, teamwork, collaboration, all of those things that are sometimes addressed in the classroom, but we really want to highlight those as well.
And I love that we're talking about those things as competencies and not as soft skills, which is a term that I just particularly hate.
Yes, I do too. I struggle with it being accessible to our students, the term competencies, if that sounds odd or strange.
Right.
So that's one of the things we're really talking about now is how to market and how to define that to students.
But also to make them feel like it's not just fluffy stuff, but it really is so critical,
Soft does
right?
sound fluffy.
Right.
It does sound fluffy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'll mention, too, one of the things that we've talked about and that we're going to be able to have some space for at Southeast Campus is a professional clothes closet, right? I mean, there are those kinds of things that you all help students with, not just how to build a resume, how to do the interview, but how you need to look to be successful going on those interviews.
We are so excited about that. And in fact, we have a wonderful interior design faculty member that has given us kind of the back half of her classroom because we already have so many donations coming in from
That's
faculty
exciting.
and staff. We have some clothing racks that JCPenney donated to us. So we're just waiting for some space and we will be up and running. But we are so excited to help students with that. And we also have some literature that we give them on professional dress and guidance and things as well.
So just earlier this week, on Monday, the mayor showed up at the Student Success Center, Student Success and Career Center at Southeast Campus, and it was really the grand opening. And we had all sorts of community members there, and you were there, and your staff was there.
It's about 300 people, I think, Campus Police
Were there
estimated.
300 people there?
Wow.
I think that's the estimate I heard.
That's fabulous. Okay, I had no idea. That was
A lot of people up in the loft kind of looking over the
Yes,
balcony and
that's great
down the
news.
hallways. And
So the Career Center is there now at the Student Success and Career Center at Southeast Campus. But it's not just for Southeast Campus students, it's for the whole college, right? So talk to us about how will students experience the programs that you offer, and how's that going to be different now that the Student Success and Career Center is open?
Sure, yeah. So students come in through the front door and check in through the kiosk system for our services, just like they do to see advisement or the Answer Center or any those services. The main difference for us is the space that we have over there. So we have 2 interview rooms where students can have interviews with employers on campus. Actually, we just had a student in there yesterday who had a phone interview, and she needed a quiet place.
How cool is that?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's so exciting to see that space used in ways maybe we hadn't even thought of yet. So to be able to host our local employers and partners is just huge for us. And as far as the student perspective, we've always worked closely with advisement, but now that we have a soft handoff, just because we're all living in the same space. So if a student came in to see an advisor and the, conversation maybe switched more towards some major exploration or some questions about careers, those advisors are able just to walk those students over to our office and we can meet with them.
So as a follow-up, so how does it work on other campuses?
Yes.
So let's talk about that.
Sure.
Is there a member of your staff on every campus?
Yes, there sure is. Every week
yay.
we have,
Okay.
at the other 3 campuses, we have career services staff in the advisement areas, very
Okay.
close as
Okay.
well. So really,
And-
Southeast was the only place we were sort of away from
Right.
advisement.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, until then.
And so they're there certain hours of the week?
Yes, so they are on the other campuses Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, that's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Full-time Tuesday, Wednesday,
Yeah.
Thursday,
Yeah.
so it's not sparse. So really.
It's not.
Right.
Not
yeah.
at all. Okay.
Yep.
And then once the other career, student success and career centers are,
built
and opened
and
up.
remodeled on the other campuses, that's just going to make that connection even stronger
yes.
across
Right.
the college.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
How
Laura, one of-
exciting is that? Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
it really is. Laura, one of the other tools that you provide to students is Career Coach. Tell us a little bit about Career Coach.
Yeah,
how that works.
Career Coach is a wonderful tool that we use with students. So they can take an assessment on there based on their interest and personality, and that's based on the Holland Code, which is kind of the gold standard for career assessment. And then that recommends different industries and maps to our catalog, which is so neat. So if education pops up, that's my number one. So the tool works. Then it will show the different degrees and certifications within your recommended career. And you can dig deeper into that for median salary, the skills used on the job, and it ties back to our catalog and program maps. So it's a really, really great tool to use with students.
How long have we had the access to that program?
I believe it started in 2017.
Okay.
So
It
not
seems like it was a couple of
terribly
years.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And any of our students can come in and use it?
Anybody can use that, and they can do that at home too. Of course, we always like to meet with students to kind of help them interpret results and think about some other things as well too. And for students who already know what they want to go into, it's also a really nice reinforcement for them to take that assessment and see those correct things pop up.
And they need to be a TCC student, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And to that point, it also, even if they've got one thing in mind, they
Right.
also might find some related fields that they hadn't really thought about before that trigger a new interest.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
In some of the health sciences fields, or
Yes,
or
yes.
some of the STEM fields. Maybe someone's got one particular thing in mind because mom or dad or
Yes.
neighbor or someone was this, and then they think, oh, I never thought about. you know.
Right. Yes, we see a lot of that with our allied health programs. Yes, for sure.
So a little bit deeper than what we've been able to deliver before for our
yeah.
students.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Leigh Goodson here with my co-host, Dr. Greg Stone, and you're listening to the Big Blue Podcast. Our guest today is Laura McNeese, and we've been talking about some of the services available at our college and how they contribute to building an educated, employed, and thriving community. Laura, one of the other services you provide is support with resumes. You mentioned it earlier here on the podcast. How important is a resume for today's students? And do you find many of them come with familiarity with a resume, or is it foreign to them?
It is so important. I mean, I'm sure you all know that, how important resumes are, but really, the resume gets you the interview. And if you don't have an interview, you're not going to get the job. On average, an employer looks at a resume for 6 seconds before moving to the next one.
I believe that. Actually, I mean, I've just been, at this point in my career, I've been hiring for so long.
Right.
I believe that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And there are some just obvious mistakes that if you see them, you can pretty much be assured that
You put it in a different pile.
someone's not been thoughtful, or that there are other bigger gaps to come. And
Absolutely.
makes sense.
And so we share that with our students when we're talking to them about resumes. We want to help you have the best 6 seconds, you can have, and that's formatting, mistakes, editing, all of those things. And different industries require different looking or types of resumes.
And you talk to them about the 6 seconds.
Yes, we do. That's in our presentation to students. So
Amazing.
But I am encouraged. We hear from students more and more that they're doing this in high school and even junior high. So they are coming in with something, which is great. We have something to work with them. So I do think the K through 12 corridor is teaching that more and more. And
it makes me think too about, I think maybe some folks think, well, with technology being what it is, maybe it's really not as important to have a resume anymore, but that's still a critical component.
Yes, it is. And every part of that, the cover letter, a follow-up thank you note, all of those, presenting yourself on paper is extremely important.
Even when you're filling out an online form.
Yes.
So, an online form seems more casual in presentation because you're typing it in real time, but even being careful about what your words say, and if they require that online form, even being careful about what your words say in that online form and how they're punctuated and written.
No emojis.
No emojis.
Yes.
No semicolon, apostrophe for, none of that.
Right,
None of that.
Right.
Yes.
Laura, now that we sort of have in some ways, kind of a reset with the new Student Success and Career Center and the other centers that are going to be built and remodeled at the other campuses over the next couple of years. What's the future look like for career services? Where would you like our career services department to be over the next 5 or 10 years?
Yeah, that's a great question. I really would love for our services to be utilized more, not only by students, but also by faculty and staff. I think the career portion of helping our students attain that employment is the closing the loop for all of our pathways work. And so just the knowledge and awareness of our services and the things that we can do in our office is so important to me. That's kind of my charge that I've had since I started about just spreading the good word about all that we can do. We were lucky enough to present during all of the orientation sessions this summer, which was huge to get in front of our new students, but having faculty invite us into the classroom, really understanding what we do, maybe even training some faculty on some career development that they could present to their students as well. So that's kind of my number one thing. Probably number two would be making our services available to students all of the time. So we've seen a lot of really neat models of virtual career centers that are accessible 24 hours a day. They have professional staff available online at night to chat, not a chat bot, but a real person.
Right.
Career services professional, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. to answer any questions or help students. So there's some really neat things which I think would be perfect for our students.
So maybe not 3 a.m., but
maybe not at 3 a.m., but maybe
6 to 10, 6 to 11 for our students that are up doing homework and looking at things.
Yeah, to meet them where they're at and not expect them to come in at a 9 a.m. appointment.
Yeah.
Right. Especially for our students who are, and so many of them do work multiple jobs, have families. Coming in at 10 o'clock in the morning or 2 in the afternoon just isn't always
It's inconvenient.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, and the college as a whole has made a new commitment
Yes.
to career services, and that was part of the center. And that's part of what the vision package that built the Student Success and Career Center has done for the community.
Yes.
So this is a great shot in the arm, if you will.
Yes.
And so I'm excited to hear your vision and looking forward to watching you take it to a couple of more levels, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
very
Thank you.
exciting. Well, Laura, we ask everybody the same question towards the end. If you could go back in time and give your 18-year-old self a piece of advice, what would that be? And what were you doing when you were 18 on your way out of high school? Did you finish high school?
I did.
Okay.
Yes.
Some of our guests didn't. One of
That's
them
right.
today didn't. Yeah.
I did. I was getting ready to go to college. And I thought about this a lot because overall I had a pretty good collegiate experience. And I tried to think back about my fears and what I was feeling like before I went. And I do wish that I would have reached out and gotten involved on campus maybe more. That first semester, I was just a little timid and a little bit afraid, but getting involved, having a faculty mentor, building relationships with your classmates, student organizations, all of those skills and relationships serve you your entire life.
Absolutely.
And so I think that would be the advice I would give myself.
That's good advice.
It is.
Yeah.
And and it's a good reminder that even as working professional adults, that same mentality is just so beneficial to building relationships in the workplace and making strong networks of support. Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, Laura, thank you so much for being with us today. You've been listening to the Big Blue Podcast. We want to thank Laura for coming in to talk about the amazing changes and programs that are happening in career services, and we want to thank you for listening. Remember that you can find the Big Blue Podcast each week in the Week at TCC and on the Creativity channel at YouTube. Dr. Goodson, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Stone.
Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.